Welcome to Psychic Insights, where pop culture meets higher consciousness and the tea is always a little bit mystical. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and around here we don't just watch the drama unfold. We read the energy behind it, whether it's celebrity scandals, reality TV, chaos, or true crime with a twist. I'm tuning in to bring you the intuitive scoop, the headlines miss. So buckle up, because your aura's about to get entertained. Hello, welcome back to my channel. It's Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and today we're diving into a story that's a little bit of a head scratcher, heartbreak, confusing, fascinating, and it's the aftermath of the Golden Bachelor Season 1. With Gerry Turner. You probably remember them, Gerry Turner, and he chose Theresa Nist. They're two widowed romantics who found love later in life on national TV. Their wedding was this huge televised event in January of 2024, and for a moment, it gave me a little bit of hope for love in the future. For a minute. But just a few months later, they announced their divorce. And now Gerry's new memoir, Golden Years, What I Learned from Love, Loss, and Reality TV, is shedding a new light and controversy on what really happened. Now, Theresa responded on the Dear Shandy podcast. I love it. Go check it out. And she got a lot to say. So when I listened to that interview, what struck me is how composed she is, not angry, just deeply disappointed. And it made me think about how when love ends, the story of why it ended can sound completely different depending on who's telling it. I've been there. I understand this. I'm sure you have too. So let's start with Gerry. In Golden Years, he paints a picture of a whirlwind romance that went off the track almost immediately. He says he felt trapped before the wedding, that there were doubts he didn't know how to voice. He even writes that during his trip to Theresa's New Jersey home, she asked him to sleep on the couch. He says she seemed distant and preoccupied with her job, and then comes one of the most emotional parts of the book. Gerry reveals that he's been diagnosed with a rare bone marrow cancer called Waldenstrom's something or other, I can't pronounce it. Macroglobulinemia. I should get props for actually reading that one. And he claims that he shared his diagnosis with Theresa, and her reaction made him feel, quote, insignificant. Well, I mean, you get to feel whatever you feel, right? And I have to be honest, part of me feels compassion here. Being diagnosed with cancer while newly married must be terrifying. But another part of me wonders, if you feel trapped before you say I do, is it really fair to move forward? Okay. The words trapped hits hard because it means deep down he already knew something wasn't right, and yet he went through with it. So, Gerry, be accountable to that choice. Okay, anyway. Or maybe he felt trapped by cameras, by the public expectation that this was the fairy tale ending everyone wanted. And it's easy to forget that reality TV just doesn't film people, it edits emotions into their story. So what would you have done if you were in Gerry's shoes? Scared, in love, and uncertain, but with millions of people watching. I know that I have been there, but I was in my 20s and I didn't have TV around me, TV cameras. So yeah, we all make decisions, right? So anyway, so then Theresa responded, and her version couldn't be more different. On Dear Shandy, she says almost nothing in the book happened the way Gerry describes. She explained that he offered to sleep on the couch because she had trouble sleeping in her full-size bed. She also said Gerry should have called off the wedding if he was already unsure. And her exact words were, "You did me no favors by marrying a woman that you did not want to marry." And that is absolutely fair. Theresa, solid point. And she clarified that she already knew about his cancer diagnosis long before the book suggests. So his timeline, she says, just doesn't add up. And there's also the disturbing claim that Gerry once made a dark joke about killing and chopping her up. She said it during the interview very calmly, almost in disbelief. Anyway. All right. That part honestly just made me cringe. And it shows how much humor can turn cruel when somebody's relationship foundation starts cracking. I would never say that to anyone. But I also sensed a real grace in Theresa's tone. She wasn't trying to destroy him. She was just trying to reclaim her truth. And it made me think about how women, especially older women, are often pressured to be grateful for love instead of demanding honesty. And Theresa wasn't naive. She just believed in the story they'd been told. Now, do you believe Gerry's story or Theresa's? It doesn't matter. It could be a little bit of both, right? And like most breakups, do you think the truth sits somewhere in the middle? All right. Now, this is the part I found the most fascinating. How two people can live in the same moments and walk away with completely different memories. In Gerry's telling, he's a man who tried his best and was met with distance. In Theresa's, she's a woman blindsided by someone who wasn't honest about his hesitation. And maybe both are right. Maybe neither is, because memory is emotional, and most often it's a lie. We tell ourselves a story based on what we're seeing, and we reshape it to survive pain and hurt. And it reminds me of something a therapist told me once. In relationships, truth is always plural. Now, have you ever looked back on a breakup and realized your version didn't match up with your ex's at all? I am sure we have, right? So stepping back, I think this story taps into some big questions about love, grief, and aging. Both Gerry and Theresa lost their longtime spouses. They were grieving, lonely, and hopeful. And maybe what they both really wanted was connection, not necessarily compatibility. And there's also that reality TV angle. Did the spotlight make them fall faster or harder? When your relationship becomes a storyline, how do you tell where the performance ends and the truth begins? Now, it makes me wonder, can love that starts on TV ever survive the edit? Or are these shows just emotional accelerators that crash when real life begins? And maybe that's why this story resonates, because it's not just about one failed marriage. It's about what happens when we try to find love after loss, when we've already lived lifetimes of joy and heartbreak. And if you have fallen in love later in life, did it feel different? Were your expectations more cautious or more urgent? I know for me, I have done a lot of dating after divorce and had relationships. And what I learned from each one of them is what is important to me, where my patterns fail me, and disrupt those patterns so that I become much more secure in myself and hopefully attract someone who aligns with the frequency that I'm at. So where does this leave us with Gerry and his book? Theresa has her voice, and the rest of us, well, we're somewhere in between, watching two people try to rewrite the ending of their shared story. Maybe the lesson isn't about who's right. Maybe it's about how we tell stories when love doesn't last and how grace looks different for everyone. And personally, I think both of them were trying to heal in public, and that never ends neatly. And so what do you think? Whose truth rings truer for you? Gerry's, Theresa, or somewhere in between? Let me know in the comments section. And if you like this episode, share it with a friend who's still waiting for their golden story, their golden love story. Hopefully it's a legendary one. And until next time, I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend. Stay kind, stay curious, and keep your heart open and golden. I'll see you in the next one.